Well, aloha everyone, and thank you for being here. Hey, I'm trying out some new things with my podcast, and this is one of the first episodes where I'm actually going not only audio, but video. So, welcome and thank you for being here. What I wanted to talk about today, only because I've had people asking me about it, and even in my last podcast, I mentioned that I'm kind of shifting from doing the life coaching that I've done for many years and the personal development training that I've done for many, many years. I am now shifting into doing what I'm being encouraged to do and have always known that this is a deep down gift that I've been given. And so I am wanting to share more of that gift to you and be able to offer that out as my gift, as my service to be able to help others. My entire working career has pretty much been around transformation. Even when I was in the military, my job then was to transform underperforming units into high performing organizations. And, when I got out and then I worked for the city and county of Honolulu, and then I worked for a private corporation. I have also worked as a professional photographer. And then I went into the life development or life coaching and personal development realm. Every single one of those career pieces was always around the transformation. And when I really think back to it, even when I was, especially when I was doing the photography, because it wasn't just about taking somebody's photo, it was really about having that person be in the moment and really getting to see who they were beneath just the flash of the lights and the capture on the digital with the digital image. It was really about helping them transform into something that was, from their real persona as a live person, really helping them transform that into something that others could view on their website, in paperwork that they used on business cards, but helping to transform them into something that was still alive and real and able to connect with. Okay. It was all about transformation. And I really have always loved that element of everything that I've always done. So now, though, I have really been called and directed and led and encouraged to step into the authentic me, the authentic reality of what I truly enjoy doing, which is delving into helping people get answers to deep-seated questions that they have and really finding out things that are beneath the surface or held deep inside. But the beauty of all of that is that there is the way to actually get guidance and information, not only from yourself and within, but from I want to call them external sources. And these are from your spirit guides, as I'm beginning to learn. Your spirit, they're from spirit guides, they're from the angelic realm, they're from whatever you want to call the divine or God or Buddha or whoever you might want to look towards for guidance and assistance. I have always been given this gift of having information directed towards me. And I am really now stepping into knowing that I am a channel for this information, that I've been entrusted to take this information and be able to pass it on to those that need to hear whatever the guidance is that is being directed towards them. And the guidance is always asked for. It's always something that um, when people used to come to me for personal development coaching or life coaching, it was always about questions on how could they better their lives and better the lives of those around them. And doing um, this intuitive guidance and these channeled readings for people now is really just a crossover into, again, helping people get answers so that they can become a better version of themselves. And I'm finding that by being able to give them channeled information, that it's a quicker way even to connect with themselves and to connect with their world around them and find those beautiful answers or receive the beautiful answers. So I really want to share a little bit more about the process of what I'm doing and how this all works, at least in my world and in my realm. Um, First of all, I seem to have always had this ability. I've always been able to tap into information that I never even really realized that I was tapping into from basically another realm. All right. And it wasn't until I was working with two different coaching clients on two separate occasions, all within about a 2 week period. And I was, working with them and we were talking about some life coaching aspects and I was giving them information. And both of them on these two different occasions looked at me and said, "Did you know that you were just channeling that information to me?" And all I knew that I was just passing along information that was coming to me. But both of these ladies said, "You were channeling information. We kind of saw a change in you, and the information was just coming out so beautifully. And all that we could do was just receive." And it was that realization that, yeah, I think there really is something here because I've also always been able to channel speeches and talks that I gave when I was working and doing motivational talks to a lot of groups and organizations. I found it very difficult to write out a script. And it then became clear to me that writing a script for a presentation, I would maybe have a few notes and some, maybe a little outline and obviously the topic that they wanted me to speak on in mind, but I could never write out a full script, which sometimes even when my boss wanted me to give a presentation for a training of some sort, that became a little problematic. But what I found when I did particularly these motivational talks to different groups and organizations is that the information that needed to be given to that exact group at that exact time would always come to me in the most beautiful way. And I would always just flow with the information. And afterwards, when the organizer or someone would ask me, they say, "Can I have a copy of your script or your notes or anything just so that we could capture again the things that you spoke about?" And I said, "Well, I don't have a script. I don't work from a script. Everything comes to me, and what is directed at me to share with that audience is meant only for that audience. It's not that it's a secret or anything, but it's just that the words that came out was meant to touch those that are sitting and receiving." So that was another way that I learned that I was working with channeled information. It wasn't anything that I could control. Actually, I couldn't say, "Okay, give me the script right now." It didn't work like that. So I learned to just trust the process and trust that my words would come out and be exactly right for that particular audience. Now, getting back into the intuitive guidance and stepping more forward into it, because this is a gift that I've had for many, many, many years, but haven't really put it out there that I can do channeled readings and receive information. Um, and so, but I've been encouraged to step into this gift now because I've started doing readings for different people. And they were telling me, "You have got to use this gift because it has been basically, it has helped people transform or at least melt some of the blocks that they really didn't know where they were coming from, or there were questions about who am I and where am I going? Or what do I need to be doing?" And I found that through these channeled readings, we could get to those answers or at least get on the right path to help those people find the answers in a much quicker way than what I was doing when I was coaching people, just basically giving them life coaching tips and tools to be able to, work through their concerns and find the answers within themselves. But what I'm finding by doing these intuitive readings is that I'm helping people find the answers, but they're actually being given answers as well, or being shown answers. And how that works, I had a reading just the other day, a few days ago, with a client. And this is what's now prompted me to share a little bit more about the process that I use to work with people. And when I have a session with a client, I don't, people always ask me, oh, so you use tarot cards or, anything like that. And I said, no, I don't use tarot cards and I don't do a lot of, I don't really even have to meditate beforehand or any kind of preparation. When I am ready to do a reading, I am just basically ready to transmit information. It's like tuning into a frequency, and here we go. So when I do a reading for an individual, and I can do these readings now over Zoom, just as we're talking right now, or I found that I can do these readings, in person, and they're both just as effective. And I just get clear information no matter how I'm able to work with the client. So it doesn't matter where in the world anyone is because we've got the technology to be able to connect. What I found when I start into a session is that I basically allow myself to become a blank canvas. And as that canvas, then it's as if images, and it's almost like a movie starts playing out in front of my eyes, but it's like a movie that's in being shown through a soft focus lens. There's no other way to describe it than I'm actually almost like watching a moving picture show. Okay. And images are being shown to me and I am seeing things. And it's then that I just start describing to the client what I am seeing. I don't try to interpret it too much. And I really never go into a session with any preconceived ideas that, okay, here's the answer that we're going to find for you. And here's the problem that we're going to solve. It's just having the ability to use and show the client or tell the client, this is what I am being shown. And then we can do any kind of discussions along those lines. So I basically become a blank canvas, and these images, or even almost like little moving pictures, are being shown to me. And that's when I start describing what I am seeing. And it's during these sessions, during my description of what I am seeing or being shown, that sometimes I will get full body chills. And, sometimes it starts in my legs and it moves its way up, or sometimes it's just a whole full body chills. And it's indescribable because I really don't get those full body chills except when I am channeling. All right. It's not even the same kind of chills that you get if you walk into a room and something frightens you. This is just some full body chills that are just there. And I believe that that is the sign to tell me that, yes, this is what we, who whatever is giving me the information, again, whether these are spirit guides or the angelic realm, or whether it's, what, yes, I've even had ancestors or deceased family members or friends pass me information. But when there is something big that hits, that is kind of like, okay, we want to make sure that there is an exclamation mark on this piece of information, I get full body chills. And as I often get them, then it seems the person that is getting the reading will then jump up and, oh my gosh, I just got a chill run through my body as well. So it's kind of a really interesting experience to have those kinds of feelings going through, because again, I don't really experience those at any other time. But to tell you a little bit more about the reading, as I'm doing the readings, I just relax and allow myself to see whatever it is that I am being shown. And oftentimes the information, well, every reading is different. And that's what I find so unique and lovely about the work that I am able to do, that no two readings are ever the same. And, when I first started going into this, I thought, okay, is this just my imagination? As many, whatever you want to call it, psychics, mediums, whatever, we start thinking, oh, are we just imagining this? Is this just something that's coming out of my, conscious mind, and I'm putting it in because that's what I want to hear, or that's what I want to see? Well, what it is I'm learning is that this is just the way that it is. Okay. It is just that the information will come when you can relax into it, and it's there. You just trust. And I have to say also, just for clarity here, is that all of the information that I receive is from a place of love and light. And I can just sense the love and light that the information that is being channeled through me to be given to the other person. That's the intent of all this. That's what's behind all of this, is just a great deal of love and light and caring. There is never anything dark in any of my readings. Um, Everything is wrapped in kindness. Okay. So I always tell people, you don't have to worry that I'm going to give you, a dire forecast or something. It's like, oh, you should watch out for this, because everything again is coming from a place of love and light, and with the support being given to the person who is having the reading. And it's all in support of that individual to their highest and best. Um, Let me think here. Um, when I am continuing to channel the information, and as I go along into the sessions, and sometimes the longer the sessions go, I just get more and more detail and I can see things. I guess one of the common threads that I'll see is when people ask me about, okay, what am I going down the right path? And that was even a question that I got as I was working as a life coach in the very traditional sense of the word. People want to know, am I heading the right direction? Well, what I found when people tend to ask me that in these intuitive guidance sessions, what I'll often be shown is a path or a sidewalk or a road, and an individual appearing on that path. And oftentimes that image of the individual is a version of that individual, either in the present day life, or maybe it's an ancestral representation of maybe even a past life. I'm not really sure, but I am shown something that still relates to that individual. And then the path is being shown as this individual is moving along the path, and I'm shown different aspects and different presentations or things that will come along on that person's path that I think tends to represent maybe a thought or a dream or a choice that person has along their path. And when I'm explaining these things that I'm seeing on this person's path, they'll often say, "Oh my gosh, how did you know that was," or say this business. When you described a little building or something, they said that is something that I have always wanted to do. And so it's interesting to me how all of these things become woven in and shown during these readings, as if to confirm that, yeah, we're here, we've heard you, we know that you wanted to do this, and we're showing you that that is on your path if you choose it to be. So there's always, again, a lot of light and love in these readings. And sometimes there's even a lot of humor in them as well. Again, because everything that I channel, I ask it to be of light and love. And that light is also of a lighthearted nature. It can be as well. I had someone ask me one time, I can't even remember what it was, but it was something that they said, "Am I going to be able to do this?" Something to that effect was a question that they said, "Am I really going to be able to do this?" And the response came back, it's like, "Hello, we wouldn't have opened this door for you and shown you some of this path if it wasn't something that we felt or isn't, as you need to know, it's already on your path." So in a way, it was just a lighthearted way of letting that individual know it's okay. Yeah, you're on the right path. And we are standing here with you and beside you and behind you. And that is always one message that I always get as well, is that the guides, your spirit guides, your protectors, the ones that are going to have always been with you, are still with you. They're always with you. Even when you feel most alone, these guides are with you. These protectors are with you. These from the ancestral realm are always with you. You are never alone. We are never alone. And I think, if anything, as I've been working with this intuitive guidance gift, that is the one message, the truest and strongest message that comes forth, is that we're never alone. Even again, when we think we are the most alone in our thoughts, we are not alone. You are not alone. You are being divinely held. And when you have these feelings of being alone or secluded and isolated and filled with anxiety and worry, what's recommended is that you simply settle in and relax and let yourself be held in this feeling of goodness and light, and just know that you're not alone. You are being held, you are being encircled, you are being loved, you are being hugged. Okay? There is always, always a presence with you, a loving presence with you and surrounding you. So as I am talking a little bit more about, again, about this work that I do and wanting to share more of it with you, I encourage you to, look into, possibly having, if you like, ask me about doing a reading for you. I am finding that the most wonderful gifts are coming out of the information that is coming through these readings. I generally don't remember a lot of details when I do after I finished a reading for someone. And that is because, again, the information is channeled and that is meant for that individual. So I might remember a couple of highlights of something that I've shared with someone, but do I actually remember what I've said? Not always. We do tend to, now I am offering as a service, I will record for that individual their session along with me so that they can have that as a reference and to go back to. But for me personally, I generally don't remember what I've taught. Even when I would do those motivational talks, I couldn't remember what it was that I'd actually said to the audience. I just knew from the audience coming up to me afterwards and saying, "Oh, that was really good. That was exactly what I needed to hear." I'm finding that the information is just meant for that individual. And when you receive it, know that that was directed at you, all right, in the most loving way. Again, I'll be sharing more of this work that I'm doing now as an intuitive guide, as a channeled reader, channeling spiritual guidance for individuals, because I think this is important work, and it's work that comes from my heart, and it's work that I'm excited to do. Again, I didn't offer this for the longest time. I always knew that there was something more that I was supposed to be doing with my life, but I never really knew what it was. I didn't know what that calling quite was until I was really encouraged to step into this and not be afraid of what others might think when I say that, you know what, I can maybe help you get some answers to the questions, get some really deep answers to the questions that you're asking, and helping you with your own personal development and with your personal transformation. And I hope then that you will take this information to heart, especially the information about you're not alone. You're never alone. If you could see the things that I have been shown. And actually, in one reading that I did recently, I was explaining to a woman what I was seeing in her vision, or in the visions that was being shown to me to channel to her. All of a sudden, she said, "Oh my gosh, I can see exactly what you just told me." It was about an individual, a being, whatever it was that I had said. Oh my gosh, so this person, this individual has appeared. And I described her in general. And then the client said, "Does she have this color hair? Does she look like this? Is her face like this? Is her dress this kind of color? Is her skin this color?" And it was really kind of fascinating to start comparing notes to what I had been given as the information, and to know that now my client was actually being able to see these same images without me really prompting her or anything. So it was just kind of a really a fascinating experience to know that we're now able to pull in from what I'm getting and being able to actively share that with a client. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that um, on a more regular basis too, and hopefully have that experience for those of you that also might be interested in having a reading. Anyway, that's all that I wanted to talk to you about today. This is going to just kind of wrap it up. I wanted to, again, just kind of share a little bit more about myself as an intuitive guide and as this spiritual channel or this channel for information to be brought across and be able to be brought forth to those of you who are asking questions and seeking answers and wanting to learn a little bit more about who you are and where you're going and how your light is meant to be brought forth into this world. So, anyway, I look forward to staying connected with you. I hope you are having a most marvelous day and feel free to reach out to me at any time. You can find me again on my website at KathleenDavenport.com. And, I just want to send you a whole lot of love, hugs, and aloha. Mahalo.